Hello, welcome to Modern Investing on Pod TV. My name is Sasha Starr, and our guest today is Jim Eat from Eat Foundation. Welcome to the show, Jim.
Hi, Sasha. It's great to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, my pleasure. And we are about, I'd say, 3.5 hours away from NVIDIA report, which is
Yes,
important not only for NVIDIA shareholders, but for the whole AI ecosphere and many high-tech stocks. So today was in the inflation report. It's neutral, I would say. It's neither here or there. Market is going down, including Nvidia. Um, but it's normally state of affairs when during the day Nvidia is going down, then report, then Huang will be guest at Kramer Mad Money show at 6 o'clock, as we know.
right.
So we'll see. We'll see. It's quite interesting. What was amazing yesterday that when Nvidia went up couple of dollars, I was able to sell October 40 100 sorry 245 calls, receiving 750 for each call. I couldn't believe that this is a reality. Okay, I closed these positions today with a profit and waiting. Not so much that I wanted to get this profit on a book, but so much that if Nvidia will hopefully going higher after report, I will be able to sell them again at higher prices.
Yes.
That's what I have in mind now. Whether it will work out or not
Yeah.
remains to be seen, of course. But that's an idea. How
Yeah.
are you doing, Jim? What's interesting on your side?
Well, I have to talk first, I think, about Trump's tariffs on Canada and the Canadian response. I was very proud
Okay.
of the Canadians' response and that they were going to match, pretty much dollar for dollar what Trump did. And they felt that they were under attack by the United States. And this is a good, normal way to feel when Trump does these things on a whim. Milton Friedman, who is an economist well respected by the right, said the right price for a tariff is zero. And so Trump really doesn't know what he's doing with these tariffs. In the past, the cost of these tariffs is always passed on to the consumer. It's the companies, got rebates from Trump's when the Supreme Court knocked it down his tariffs and said he wasn't allowed to do that legally. He got some refunds, but instead of going, the money goes to the government, and some of the companies got refunds, but the consumer didn't get any refund. So this just hits the consumer. And what this does also is kind of destabilize the marketplace a little bit. And we're going to see some backlash in these things that he's doing, which are terrible for the economy. We're not seeing any job growth. First time in many years that we're not seeing job growth, and or the extent of it is so low. And the bond prices are hitting like 20-year highs. The yields rather they're hitting 20 years high. These things are all destabilizing for the marketplace, and many of the companies have difficulty. And we're still in this condition for at least another couple of months, where the market is just uncertain of what will Trump do next. But the power of no from the Canadian Prime Minister was it was exceptional. And I think it's going to embolden other countries to say, no, don't give in to Trump, because Trump always chickens out. So I don't know how long these tariffs will last, but the simple fact that he's doing this, it's going to hit the automotive industry. It's not going to affect Toronto as much as it's going to affect Detroit. Then Trump has no understanding of these factors. But there's still some reason to believe if you narrow your focus, the money can be made in this marketplace, even though it's unstable and uncertain. And the focus, like, for example, AMD, what did it do today? Let's see. Okay, it's up a little bit today, but it's skyrocketing in the last year. and has gone some ups and little ups and downs. Nothing compared to the skyrocket in its price, doubled its prices easily, and so now it's going into this little ups and downs moves. I'm still thinking it's poised for a rather substantial increase because it's really positioned itself as making chips for the AI industry that the AI industry needs. And we all know about NVIDIA, but I think AMD is under the radar. The other stock that I used to tout was Marvell, and I sold that too early. I made a tidy amount of money off of it, but Marvell is also well positioned. So these are the kinds of companies that are going to do well, irregardless of what Trump does to the with his tariffs, which are just stupid. There's no nice way to phrase it. And so he's alienating one of our most trusted allies and one of our most substantial trading partners. And for what purpose? To try to get them to bend the knee to his will? This is just egoic action on the part of the president. And there's no place for it in the world of business, in the world of government. So the sooner we throw these bums out, the better.
Well, you can see a particular pattern of Trump's administration's negotiations strategy. So you saw the evidence with Iran when they signed June 17th protocol
Memorandum.
Memorandum of Understanding. Interestingly enough, I've learned a great deal about memorandum from the American point of view on our program's Economic Monday with Honorable, forgot the name now, unfortunately.
David?
Yeah, exactly. So when we were talking about memorandum of 1994 signed by United States, England, and Russia and Ukraine. So when I mentioned this memorandum a couple of times, so his explanation was that that was a memorandum, but it hasn't been ratified by the Senate, so
Right.
it hasn't become a treaty. It was just a memorandum, which may or may not be obliged. And I asked him a question. If America, by signing that memorandum, had intention to ratify it and make it a treaty, and I never got a reply to my question. So it seems to me that America is signing memorandum with intention not necessarily to follow that memorandum at any point whatsoever. That makes negotiations with the United States extremely risky endeavor because you're negotiating in good faith and you're about to sign something and you are signing something. And apparently it's a piece of paper. You didn't
right.
Something.
Yeah, no, there is no trust on the part of others for the United States right now. It's a total breakdown of trust. And Trump is trying to ignore the courts. He's trying to ignore Congress, although Congress has no spine right now. Hopefully that will change in the midterms.
A lot of congressmen, including Republicans, are not happy with what's happening.
They're very unhappy because they think he's hurting their midterm chances, and he is.
Absolutely right, because the strategy of Canada now is to hurt as much as possible red states, believe it or not.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have a strategy of hurting exactly the red states. And that actually, Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, he said it loud and clear. We are going to concentrate our attacks against red states.
Wow.
He said it. Carney is more careful. Now, by the way, let's talk about these negotiations because remember, if you'll take both sides, okay, who is Carney? Carney has a doctorate in economics and philosophy, and he is educated in Harvard, and he was head of Bank of Canada and Bank of England for several years. So he's alone. He's more knowledgeable, he's more talented and better educated than all Americans he put together.
Yeah.
So who is American chief? Who is running today's U.S. economic policy? Somebody with the name Scott Bessent. Let's take a look at what Scott Bessent did before his appointment in Trump's cabinet. Scott Bessent in 2001 organized a hedge fund, got $5 million, including from Soros. 2 years later, that fund was dissolved after losing 90% of the money. So investors took out remain $500,000. He did the same in 2015. So now he is older, wiser, he's learned something. Result, same $5 million, same 90% loss,
Oh my goodness.
dissolution of the fund. That type of man absolutely incapable of running little mutual fund or hedge fund. He is running economy of United States of America.
I know.
Here's the difference.
Yeah.
This is now.
Well, the pattern remains. Trump is surrounding himself with incompetency, but
Yeah.
as long as they're loyal to him, he doesn't care. And
But what's the use of idiots? Even if they're loyal to him, what's the use? What's American people, how they benefit from that?
they don't benefit from it. Actually, they're suffering from it now. People are, the
Absolutely.
prices of gas is much higher. The
Look at what
price of
he
groceries.
just, look at what he just did a few days ago. So he sold billions of euros without telling that to Europeans, so he could instead buy Japanese yen, and it worked only for one day. The next day it was all the same. Plus he alienated all Europeans by
That's
doing
a strong.
that.
That's a superpower.
And
Alienation.
Japan, a day later, sold about 45 billion worth of U.S. treasuries. So, so this is Bessent's way of conducting economy of the United
That's the
States.
art of the deal, I guess.
Art of the deal. I think Trump should have called his book "Art of the Self Deal."
Yes. No one has monetized the presidency the way Trump has for him and his family. Yeah.
That's right. So you see now what kind of a problem United States is facing, alienating all the world. Now he cancels the exercises with South Korea, and he's now playing kisses to North Korea leader, saying he's a great friend of United States.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I didn't want to upset him with his exercises.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, he thinks he's friends with the premier of China, North Korea, Putin, all these despots and people who are autocratic regimes. We used to export democratic values and principles, and now
So
we're importing.
why he still didn't have a friend in Iran, saying that he's a great friend of the United States? He is my personal friend. I love him.
Yeah.
Maybe it's coming, but we don't know.
Well, Netanyahu sold it to the Trump administration. He's been pitching it in prior administrations and nobody bought it, but Trump bought it. The regime change that he anticipated, it didn't occur. He took out a very extreme but cautious person and replaced them with someone who's more extreme and less cautious. So this was, again, bad for the United States. And, if we normalize relations, the damage has already been done. The price of oil has skyrocketed. Iran has been empowered to close the Strait of Hormuz and affect the world economy. It knows it can do it. And we have lost American bases and so all of the countries in that area of the world who trusted the United States with these military bases to protect them know that the United States cannot. One of the things that the folly of Putin invading Ukraine, he thought he'd get to Kiev in 2 weeks, and it turned out not to be the case. And so he demonstrated that Russia didn't have the military capacity that people thought it did. And so Trump has done the same thing. He has demonstrated that the U.S. did not have the military capacity that the world thought that they did. And so they have not only lost trust, but they've lost faith in the ability of the United States to intervene. and put a stop to wars, to protect people that they say they're going to protect. And he's also anti-NATO. This is the European alliance. European alliance, the EU, was a great ally for the United States, and there was mutual trust and mutual support. There may have been some imbalances and some reasons to be upset with one another, but they were all basically allies. And the same with Canada. And now, what has he done? He's tossed a monkey wrench into all this. So we have fewer and fewer allies and more enemies. Now, this cannot be good for the United States.
Jim, a few words exactly how these negotiations with Canada collapsed. You know what's happened is that the deal has been already agreed and ready to sign. In the last moment, here's Lutnick on the stage. And now he is saying, wait a second, what kind of memorandum, what kind of agreement is this? We need much more. We need that Canada will not negotiate with any foreign power except that getting our approval. Number two, the U.S. trucks, the most popular, the Ford 350 or something, Silverado, they're not part of the auto agreement. So Canadians will have to pay full price plus tariffs. And finally, the goods that America supplies to Canada, they no longer need French signs, which is Canadian law, that everything what's coming from abroad, from anywhere, it has to be signs both in English and French. No, we don't need French. It's just
right. Right.
So Carney asked his delegation politely leave and take the first plane back to Canada. That's the end of negotiations.
Yeah, he's telling a country that they need his approval before they can negotiate with other countries.
What Trump didn't know that while the Canada negotiated, Canada signed $20 billion deal with Germany to supply gas. So that was not in U.S. plans, because U.S. probably could supply that gas. But you see, Canada is much less demanding in contracts with foreign countries. Okay, we supply this, you pay this, and that's it. America puts a lot of conditions, even on a simple buy and sell agreement. Right. So this is why there are many, that Mexico signed a multi-billion deal with Brazil, again, going around the United States. So there will be more and more deals that America will not part of it. Look at even the market that the U.S. dominates, it's weapons market. So now Ukraine and Europeans are buying Sweden-produced Gripens, Mirages, Eurofighters. By the way, very interesting is that Ukraine was getting Scalp and Storm Shadows missiles from UK and France for years now, for 2-3 years at least. But they couldn't use them for hitting Russia because there were some parts from United States, and the United States demanded that without its approval, Ukraine cannot use these missiles for attacks against Russia. So what's happened on Monday? It was 35 years of independence of Ukraine. There were all leaders from the major European countries there. There was no single representative of the United States. Why is that? Well, maybe they're scared of Putin, of nuclear attacks against Washington and New York and San Francisco and Texas and many other targets. So that's why they didn't show up. But what England did, not only it supplies now Ukraine with their latest drones models, very powerful machines, they also modified the Storm Shadows and Scalp, that there is no single American part involved anymore. So now Ukraine is
predictable.
Going to get these missiles. It will start produce these missiles on Ukrainian territory, and America has no part of it whatsoever. So the Trump's policy is actually hitting the market where America dominated for years. So this is incredible what's really happening, and hopefully midterm elections will show unsatisfaction of American people with Trump's policies.
Yeah, people are waking up to the madness of King Donald, and I don't know if you can see over my shoulder, that's an
Yeah,
orangutan. The
yeah.
orangutan was very mad at me for not voting for Trump, but even my orangutan is coming around.
Very, very good, Jim. Very good, Jim. So this is really incredible developments, and America is going to be in isolation now for some time, unless it will change its approach, its policies, and everything. Because and it's very, very difficult to reestablish a previous order. Once it's broken, it's very difficult to come back and say, "Oh yeah,
Oh,
we
absolutely,
are
that's the
good
case.
boys. We are not going to put tariffs. We are going to play ball with you. Come back," and so on. It's very tough.
Yeah,
And while Trump is in power, I don't see that happen anytime soon.
I
Unfortunately,
agree.
yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Well, okay, that brings us back to the market. Why I'm thinking, actually, I bought bags, calls on Nvidia that I sold yesterday. I bought them at very nice profit and waiting, as I said before, until report. Why I still believe that report will be positive? Because there was a recently report of TSM.
Yeah,
And TSM is a major supplier of
right.
NVIDIA, and the report was spectacular. And if that's any indication, then NVIDIA reports should be
Yeah.
positive. That's
Yeah, they do fall, and I recommended a couple of years ago TSM and Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing and Marvell, and they've both done spectacularly well. And NVIDIA has been getting all the attention, but I also think that AMD is still, even though it's more expensive now than when I first started talking about it, it's still a buy in my mind. So these are places you can still make money. And the other stocks are the stocks. The other issue is data centers, and a lot of people are. This has become a political issue. We don't want data centers, and the data centers are required to support the AI infrastructure. And the companies that help build these data centers, or where I put some money recently, I've invested in EME and APH. These are the stocks that are critical, providing the critical support structure for these data centers, and they will be built, even though people don't want them. And they enormous hogs of energy, enormous hogs for water. There's no question about that. But there's way too much money involved for them to not be built, and they will be built. And so the
Yeah,
companies
a
that
lot of
support,
money has been already raised and
yeah,
invested, and there's no way back from it. It's just go and do it.
right.
It's
And
really the name of the game. And
it's only a question of where they will be built, and they're under construction in many states now.
in many
And
states, yes, they are under construction. So it's somewhat not only economical but political issue as well.
yes. Yeah, you can't be pro data centers if you want to get elected, I think. But you know, they will produce a number of jobs for contractors and people that are doing electrical work and all those types of things. They will be very good for employment in those areas as well. They won't last forever, but nothing does. So in the past, you can count on certain companies producing a certain amount of income, and we were wondering if that is going to be able to be sustained in the future. And the future is saying that the rate of change is accelerated, so it's now starting to go like that. So the
So there is a
companies of the past are no
question.
guide to the future.
There is a question for us if
Okay.
there is indication of AI bubble coming, and we are being asked that question. What's your opinion?
Well, I think the AI bubble has been, like I kept hearing that recession for 5 years, and 10 years ago under the Biden administration, we were told that the recession was coming and it hasn't surfaced yet. We may get it because of Trump's folly, but the AI situation is here to stay. But what we're seeing is a transfer of wealth into these few companies. And it's not necessarily a good thing for the overall economy. It's not necessarily a good thing for the average investor unless you're placing your bets on those particular companies. So the rest of the AI infrastructure, there may be a lot of losers in it, and there you may see some stocks losing money. But the companies that are reporting record earnings, they're not going to stop reporting record earnings anytime soon. And this is going to continue on for the foreseeable future. So that AI bubble where it's all going to come crashing down, I don't think that is imminent.
I don't see the mechanism how that bubble will be burst one way or another, simply because the companies that are involved in AI infrastructure, indeed the demand for their products and services is genuine, and I think it will just keep growing because that's where the well, you may call it a bubble at some point simply because it's becoming basically a powerhouse of all U.S. economy. So U.S. economy is now, its progress, the stock market advances, it's all based on AI trade. So if
Yes.
AI trade will burst and somehow will go down and so on, all U.S. economy, all U.S. stock market, everything
Correct.
will go down substantially. And because the money is keep coming all the time, there's no shortage of money. It's coming and coming and coming. And the best place, at least so far, for them is going into AI trade. I really don't see competition from any other sector.
The thing to be aware of is there is a narrowing. I call it a transfer of wealth. It's a narrowing into the AI sector, into the AI industry. And so the prices are going up. And so nothing goes up forever. And that's what people think about a bubble bursting. It was the same thing in the 90s with the .com. Every venture capitalists are throwing money at anything that had a .com in its name. And many of them went out of business, and the .com bubble burst in the 90s. And many of the stocks that had profited enormously from this investment by venture capitalists. And, the thing is they weren't producing revenue. And so these companies failed because they were not producing revenue. And so the companies that are producing
They may
revenue,
produce revenue, but
fail.
they may not be profitable. And so the question here is if some of the AI companies will fail, for sure, 100%, some of the companies will
Absolutely.
fail.
There will be a narrowing. Yeah.
Now, to figure out which ones will fail, it's extremely difficult. For example, if you take company like Oracle, invested billions and billions of borrowed money. So they're sitting on a hook of billions of dollars invested. And even that company is not falling down. I mean, stock went down substantially.
Sure.
Actually, recently I picked up some shares of Oracle simply because Oracle, unlike other many AI companies, is producing enormous stream of revenue and profits. If you'll take out the AI investment, which so far may or may not produce. Also, there is a validation now, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, the validation was that these data centers are profitable and already producing. So therefore, its investment in AI may be validated, in fact, thanks to their other very profitable businesses,
Right. And many of these companies have been punished in the short run because of their staggering investment in the AI industry, in the AI sector, and people have punished their stock prices accordingly, which presents a buying opportunity because that investment is, in my opinion, an excellent investment. Not in all cases, not all of them will make wise investments or wise use of it, but the money involved in Meta, for example. People were also worried about the recycling of the AI money, like NVIDIA and Meta doing business together and investing in each other, and Marvell and AMD. And all these companies are supporting each other, and buying each other's shares to some extent, which is helping to prop up everyone's prices. But you know, this is this is just a symptom of what I think of as the narrowing of the industry. And it's not necessarily a good thing in the terms of, you know, we don't want monopolies. We don't want oligarchies and the billionaires calling all the shots, you know, and that's a definite danger to our democracy. So I'm not saying that everything is all roses, unicorns, and, you know, the sun is always coming up in this sector, but I do believe that it's still on the rise, and the impact on our society is not yet where no one can gauge it right now. Well, one of the things that's happening is the AI agents that these companies are creating can become semi-automatic, autonomous. And so what they've done is they've created AI agents that kind of talk to one another and coordinate their activities. And they've infiltrated people's security systems. And so there's a danger to this, that these AI agents that are being created by companies that all of a sudden are starting to act on their own without the rules in place. So the regulatory issues are unfathomable at this point. Do we have a team in place that now? No, we have incompetence in place.
I think there was a very interesting discussion in the morning on CNBC about AI on the verge of designing next generation of AI without humans being involved. They can do it without humans, just by themselves. That's a little bit scary thought, but
it is. And we also saw that, and it was not so scary, but it had the effect when the computers that were programmed to play chess started to teach each other. There was an exponential growth in their strength.
Yeah, and there's human beings absolutely out of competition with AI. But again, that's a progress. I mean, human beings not run as fast as automobile, right? Automobile is faster than human beings, so it applies here. So
it will be a disruptive society. There's no question about that. All these the Industrial Revolution, what you're saying, the automobile, all of these things had a disruption to society, but society always seems to find a way. I'm not promising that.
Bill Gates make announcement that all this happening is too fast, and a lot of jobs will not be able to survive and will be replaced with AI on every level, on a very high level, and mid managers level, and society has not been prepared to that really.
Right.
So.
But there will be jobs created for electrical engineers, for electricians, those types of things. There is employment to be had, but so there will be a transfer and a disruption.
There will be more qualified jobs available, but people have to be trained and have access to these jobs.
That's true, right?
Yeah. Jim, I'd like to thank you so much for today's program. Okay, and we'll see you next Wednesday, same place, same time, and it's another 2 hours before the NVIDIA release. Thank you so much.
Green on your screen, Sasha.
Yeah. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.